The kingdom of God belongs to such as these. The kingdom of God belongs to children. Where does that leave the rest of us who are no longer children? In 1956, Adlai Stevenson was running for President of the United States. One day he was addressing a group of people that included a lot of children. He said, "Which of you children would like to be a candidate for President of the United States?" All the little hands went up. Then he said, "And which presidential candidate would like to be a child again?" Slowly he raised his own hand. He would have liked to be a child once again, rather than a candidate for the presidency. And I think that was a wise choice for him, especially since he lost. Do we wish to be children again? Do we wish our childhood to continue? Do we wish that the kingdom of God could belong also to us? There was a Hungarian-born English writer and humorist of the 20th century by the name of George Mikes. One time he went to a therapist and was asked the question therapists always like to pose: "Did you have a happy childhood?" George Mikes looked at him and said, "I'm still having a happy childhood." He was able to allow his childhood to continue into his adulthood. What a rare gift that is. What Jesus is telling us is not that only children are in the kingdom of God, but that we must look at things with the eyes of a child in order to notice the kingdom of God all around us. We can all be in the same place, but we don't all notice the same things. We often do not all notice what is right here with us. Once I was in Africa. One of the most remarkable experiences there was a prolonged visit I had to the Hadzabe Bushmen. Now the Bushmen are one of the most primitive tribes on earth, completely removed from modern civilization, completely removed from the world that we know, with all its computers and money and gadgets. They live as they lived thousands of years ago, and they are one of the last hunter-gatherer societies left on earth, which was the lifestyle of all humanity for 98% of our existence. It was fascinating to be with them. I especially bonded with the chief there, whose name was Shakwa. He even took me out hunting with bows and arrows. The little boy bushman next to me, probably 10 years old, saw a bird up in the tree, took aim, and got it. They never seemed to miss. So Shakwa rubbed 2 sticks together and made a fire right then and there so we could barbecue the bird. He was used to making fires that way and had never seen a match. They threw the whole bird on the fire, feathers and all, and we ate it right then and there. It was not like any restaurant I had ever been in. Then I went out gathering roots with the women of the village so that we could have something to drink after the meal. There is no water around. The only thing they have to drink is what they can get out of the liquid-filled roots they dig up. It was a fascinating experience. After the meal, we sat around with a big stone pipe that they filled with some of the local plants they had been smoking for thousands of years, and we passed around the pipe just like the Native Americans did with their peace pipes. It was an amazing experience of communing with that tribe. Now, people of the 21st century America would look at a man like Shakwa with disdain, would look down on him and say, "Get with the program, brother. Come into the 21st century." Yet, when I remembered the problems our civilization was facing, I could not help but think that maybe these guys are the ones who have it right. I must say that Shakwa, that totally uncivilized human being, was one of the happiest, friendliest, most loving people I have ever met anywhere. What was his secret? Perhaps it was being able to see the world still with the eyes of a child. After I had left the Bushmen and was back in so-called civilization, one of my friends over there decided to surprise me in a magnificent way. He went into the bush and visited my friend Chief Shakwa. He brought the chief a cell phone, dialed my number, and handed the thing to the chief, who had no idea what this piece of metal and plastic was. He was told to put it up to his ear. Well, he put it up to his ear, backwards and upside down. And then he heard a human voice from it, greeting him in his own clicking language, and he was absolutely amazed and in awe. Was this a god speaking to him? He tried to break open the telephone, determined to discover who was hiding inside speaking to him. Shakwa and his people look at the world with the eyes of a child. They have not been spoiled by civilization as we have been. They are still close to the things of this earth. So he is able to look around and see the divine in all the nature around him, to see God in the people next to him, to stand in wonder and awe before the mystery. Like the child, he is not so far removed from the things of God as we in civilized places have become. How precious it is to see the world through the eyes of a child. For to such as these belongs the kingdom of God. Here in the West, in the 21st century, it is very difficult to have a childhood when we are 60 years old. In all too many cases, even our children don't have a childhood. I am so delighted that I was born when we were still able to enjoy the simple things. That I was able to go outside when we didn't have any money, play in the dirt and mud, and see truly with the eyes of a child. Too many children now are robbed of their childhood from the very beginning by being introduced to adult things. They wouldn't know what it is like to play with the bugs. They have to have a computer screen in front of them. Oh, we have gained a lot, but we are also missing something that Shakwa can show us. Let's look at our own lives and see with what eyes do we look at the world. Have we been able to retain that magical period of our life called childhood? Are we still able to view the world as children do, as Shakwa does, as St. Francis of Assisi did, as the Christ did? Let us regain that childhood, that childlike spirit, those eyes of a child, so that to us too may belong the kingdom of God.